Welcome to Gold Wells, a thriving little community which has no gold and no wells. You'll meet most of its fun-loving citizens right here in the Shining Hours Bar and Grill. Of course, not everyone comes here looking for fun. Take Davy Mitchell there. Now, Davy's a very conscientious type. He works hard at being next to Top Gun in Gold Wells. And this is Pike Dillon. At the moment, Pike is third gun, but he's ambitious.
Hello, Cass. I'll see you around.
Well, I'm Cass Kendall, and right away I didn't like him. You see, I'm top gun in Gold Wells at the moment, and now Pike Dillon is second gun, but Pike's too fast for me, and I know it, and what's worse, he knows it. So let's be practical. A man's got to think of his future. I mean, Gold Wells. There's no gold, no wells, and it's no place for me.
From out of the West, Dick Powell's ZANE Grey Theater.
The hub of activity in any western town was usually the general store. It stocked everything from beans to bullets, crackers to kerosene. Newest print from St. Louis, 11 cents a yard. The accepted yard was from your nose to the tip of your fingers, thusly. A fellow with long arms and a loose neck usually did a big business. Patent medicine was a popular item, too. Dr. Crudemeyer's liver tonic. Good for indigestion, pleurisy, arthritis, lumbago, rheumatism, cuts, burns, and bruises, epizootic, whatever that is, and that tired feeling. Caution, do not use near open flame. Always wonder what happened to Grandpa. Then there were potatoes, 8 cents a sack, dried beans, 12 cents a bucket, and nails, 2 cents a handful. And for the kiddies, penny candy. Oh, there was licorice, gumdrops, jelly beans, jawbreakers, and... Jawbreakers? Oh, well. The story we've chosen for this week is entitled Three Graves. It's about a strange and different town, and a great deal of the action takes place in the general store. Our star is Jack Lemmon.
Now, finding another town to my liking wasn't exactly easy. It had to be reasonably clean and decently prosperous, and naturally free of any guns quicker than mine. Well, whoever named the town had a reason. Already I liked it better than Gold Wells. Called for further investigation.
This one's to welcome a stranger on the house.
Oh, mighty hospitable.
Hang up your gun first.
No thanks.
Sorry, I can't serve you.
Well, look, I'll pay for the drink to keep my gun.
Sorry?
Well, I'm sorry, too. Your house rule just lost you a customer, friend. I'll find another bar.
Not a house rule, friend. A town law. Nobody in Three Graves wears a gun. If you should start shooting, you might get 3 or 4 of us, but the rest of us would get you. That's our way. Nobody in Three Graves wears a gun.
Who runs this town?
T.J. Barnett's our mayor.
Where do I find him?
His general store is right down the street.
Well, now, you hold on to that free drink. I may be back. looking for Mr. Barnett.
He's in the office, but he's busy.
Thank you. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
You can't go in there. What's your name?
Kendall, Cass Kendall.
As I said, Mr. Barnett's busy. Maybe I can help you.
Well, that's a very interesting thought, but I came to see the mayor. Pardon me.
Wait a minute.
Well, what in thunder's this?
Oh, didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just going. Sorry it isn't more, TJ, but if you'll be patient, I'll do better next time.
All right, all right. Now then,
TJ, this is Mr. Cass Kendall. I tried to stop him.
you just hit town, I see.
Yeah, I hadn't had my first drink before someone told me to hang up my gun.
And you figure you can't live without it?
Well, I just want to be sure before I get foolish.
Set. Nancy, clear out.
Don't be silly.
I thought you were top man in 3 grades.
Granddaughters don't count. Go tend the store. You can eavesdrop as usual. Go on now. Go on, go on. You figure to settle here?
Well, it depends
On whether I decide you can.
on whether I want to. Why no guns?
When you rode into town, maybe you noticed the 3 graves give this place its name? 3 men are buried there. We thought they burned out some settlers, murdered 7 people.
Interesting thought, honoring killers.
They were innocent. We lynched them by mistake. Everybody in town had a hand in it. It was shameful. Well, we took a good look at ourselves and didn't like what we saw. That's when Medina became 3 graves. Everybody in town hung up their gun, and I took over as mayor. It's turned out right well.
Yeah, I can see it has.
You know, you probably won't like it here. Everybody has to earn their own living, honestly.
Then comes to you for permission to sneeze.
I run this town my way. Now, if that bothers you, keep moving.
If I decide to stay here, I might want to buy a business for cash. Now, you got anything available?
Luke Palmer ran the freight lines. He died a month ago. His widow might sell.
All right. Now, if that stock is in good shape, I might go $1,500.
I figure 3,000.
You figure 3,000. Maybe I better go speak to the widow.
I wouldn't do that if I was you. I represent Mrs. Palmer. Now, what's the best you can do?
I might go 2,000.
Well, I'll consider that.
Thanks. I'll take a look around. If I decide to stay, I'll be in touch.
You take off that gun or don't even bother to look around. That's the law.
How did it go?
You got to know everything, don't you?
It helps. You gonna stay?
Yeah, I'll be around. A town ashamed of itself, and T.J. Barnett setting himself up as the town's conscience while he lines his pockets. And all I had to do was ease T.J. out and take over, maybe even become mayor myself. It's made to order. Well, I bought the freight line at my top price of $2,000. I wondered how much of it the widow ever saw. And my freight run took me to a boom camp with the unlikely name of Paradise. The town was full of gunslingers and confidence men. I figured it would be easy to find the men I needed. Friendly poker game gave me the chance I was looking for.
Come on.
All right, go ahead, laugh. 3 Graves is a funny name for a town, but you tell me another spot in the territory that's growing that fast.
And no one wears a gun?
No one wears a gun. Your bet?
How about your marshal?
We don't have one. You in the pot? No, Marshal. Everybody in this town leads the nice, quiet, wonderful life. Where did that card come from? But I kind of worry. That's a shame. That's a wonderful town.
Oh, well, if it's so great, why worry?
Well, a couple of smart gunslingers could come into that town and have it at their mercy. I heard of such a case. 2 fellas took over a town. They set up what they called a protective association. You see, they made those merchants pay them money for every week for protection. You know what happened if they didn't pay? Accidents happened. Ruined the town.
Shame that kind of thing going on.
Well, it's a wicked world.
I bet $10.
Oh, I couldn't do that. No, that's my limit. I have to leave early in the morning. See you boys next trip. Matter of fact, I hardly got back to Three Graves myself before my fallen angels from paradise started putting my scheme to work.
So, when my partner and I discovered this lovely little town was totally unprotected...
We don't need protection.
Hear that, Stoney? Barnett, this is a chancy world. Today you think you don't need protection, but tomorrow...
They're threatening us, TJ.
Listen to her, Blaze, and us only trying to help.
You can fancy this up any way you like. It still comes to this. Every merchant in Three Graves will have to pay you $5 a week or you'll make trouble.
Mr. Barnett, our business is preventing trouble.
Not in Three Graves. Now get out of this store and get out of this town.
You don't want to subscribe.
You heard the gentleman. Out.
Count yourself, friend. You only add up to 1. You're making a mistake, Barnett. Hope you won't regret it.
You don't realize how bad you may need protection.
Cass, you were wonderful, just wonderful.
If I'd had my gun.
You'd have shot up my store and settled nothing.
What did you settle?
I don't know what brought those two here, but I'm going to get them out of this town and quick. And I'll do it my way. No guns. Is that understood,
You're
Cass?
a top man. Way I figured, TJ would try to run my parasites out of town, and fail, which would be my cue to take over, and once the town accepted me as top man, there'd be no problems. The only difference, I'd be the one they'd be making those payments to. It'd be my town instead of Thomas Jefferson Barnett's. All right, come out of there with your hands over your head.
Cass,
What are you doing sneaking around like that?
what are you doing with that gun?
I'm cleaning it, and there's no law against that.
I only wanted to talk to
Well,
you.
then why don't you just walk in, sneaking around like that, scaring a man to death? Why don't you grow up? And don't do things like that.
Why not?
Well, there's things about me you don't know.
And I don't care. You're here, I'm here.
Well, Nancy,
Why don't you stop running, Cass? Take a look at me, a good look. You might like it. TJ, are you all right?
Just shook up a mite.
what did it?
Blasting powder, I guess.
Those 2 hide binders with the protection dodge. This is their work, TJ.
It's hardly coincidence.
What are you going to do about it?
I'll handle this. There'll be no violence in Three Graves.
Well, I hope you're right, TJ, but blasting powder speaks a lot louder than words. I was glad TJ wasn't hurt, but most important, everything was right on schedule. In 24 hours, I'd be top man in Three Graves, and there was nothing to stop me. Next day, everyone was speculating on TJ's showdown with the Protective Association.
Remember, Cass, it's not just TJ that's telling these scum to clear out. The whole town's behind him.
Which must be a comfort, but you're unarmed, too.
What would you do, Cass?
I'll tell you what I'd do. I was glad to hang up my gun and abide by the law. Well, to save Three Graves, I'd be willing to buckle it on again.
You mean you'd gun these 2 out?
But that's again everything this town stands for.
Sometimes you've got to break a law to preserve it. Understand, I hope it doesn't come to this, but if TJ should fail, well, Three Graves has been good to me, and the least that I could do is...
TJ's been hurt. Bad accident. How'd it happen? Well, he was headed for a talk with them two gunslingers. Darned if a piece of iron grill work on that empty building next to TJ's didn't break loose and fall right onto him.
Where is he now?
Well, they carried him into the store. The doc's with him. You suppose that ironwork was shook loose by that blast last night?
You don't really believe that. You know as well as I do what happened and why. Things had to move fast from here in. I had to make my move before the town had time to recover and act for itself. Besides, I didn't want TJ killed, the old thief.
He's in there.
Yeah, how is he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's a tough old buzzard. He'll just have to take it a little easier.
I suppose I can run the store for him.
He ought to retire now anyway. He's got a nice nest egg socked away.
TJ hasn't any nest egg.
With the business he does in this store and his outside interests? Oh.
What outside interests?
What? Well, I'm not exactly blind. I've seen the men paying off TJ. He must have a finger in every pie in this town.
Cass Kendall. Those payments are on loans TJ has made.
Of course.
TJ has loaned money at no interest to half the people in Three Graves. And it isn't just the loans that keep him broke. For instance, when you bought the freight line, you paid him $2,000.
$2,000, my top price.
Well, he gave Mrs. Palmer $3,000.
Why would the man do such a thing unless he's crazy?
Maybe to your way of thinking, TJ is a little crazy. But you didn't know him before that lynching. You didn't see his face when he found out those men were innocent. Ever since that day, he's tried to make Three Graves a kind of living monument to those men.
All right, now why help me? I'm a total stranger. Why see to it I get a freight line?
Three Graves needed the freight wagons. Mrs. Palmer needed the money. And TJ likes you. I think he had a feeling you could do a lot for this town.
No, sir. He's got a guilty conscience. That's his problem. It's not... He has no right involving me in this. I pay my own way. I lead my own life. And I refuse to be obligated to that man or his town. Loans without interest, $1,000 gifts to widows. Either Nancy was lying or the old man was crazy. You don't live for a town, you live in it. I hadn't asked TJ to help me. I owed him nothing. Sooner or later, someone was bound to push over his house of cards. Why not me? It was all set. Sure it was, except for one thing. I was trying to tell myself what I'd found out about TJ in the town didn't matter. But it did. Well, let him keep his town, his monument. I'd send the two gunslingers on their way and write the whole scheme off and stick to freighting. Everyone's entitled to a few mistakes. Oh, don't bother. Just don't bother.
You're fast, mister.
I'm glad you realize that.
But we've seen faster.
Not in Three Graves, you haven't, and I want the both of you out of here by morning.
By morning.
Yeah, unless you think you can draw faster.
That include me too, Cass?
It's a small world, ain't it? I'm glad to see you again, Cass. You disappointed me. You left Gold Wells without saying goodbye.
Well, you know how it is, Pike.
Yeah, well, they told me in Paradise you was running a freight line down here, so I came on down to see it. It's quite a town.
Well, there's nothing here for a man of your talents.
Oh, now I wouldn't say that. Weren't you gentlemen leaving? See, I don't give them till morning, Cass. I tell them to clear out. I mean now. Well, what's the matter, Cass? You don't seem pleased. I didn't upset some little plan of yours, did I? You know, the trouble with them is they think small. Now, the way I see it, everybody in Three Graves, including you, pays me 10% of their take. That way, nobody gets hurt. You do good, I do good.
Well, the town will never hold still for it.
Well, the town's got no other choice. Now, who's going to stop me? You, Cass? Somehow I got the idea you weren't anxious to draw on me. Maybe I was wrong. Now, you want to try, you're welcome. Otherwise, I'll give you till morning and hang up that gun. Make your first payment. You know, set an example for the rest of them. Is that clear?
It's a nice town. It'll never be the same after Pike takes over. I wish I'd never seen a gun. Listen to me, I'm beginning to talk like everybody else around here. Except Pike, there's only one language he understands. I hope I can talk faster than he can.
How's TJ?
Much better. He wants to see you about those 2 high binders.
Well, the situation's changed. Pike Dillon's taken over.
Pike Dillon?
It's the fastest gun I've ever seen.
Are you thinking of...
He's got to be stopped.
Cass, no, please.
Wait a minute, Cass. I'll take care of this.
Too late for that now, TJ.
Now, you listen to me. We'll handle this our way. He can't shoot all of us. We know how to get rid of him. Nancy, go get some of the men.
What if you could bluff him? He'd go away, he'd come back with 10 more just like him. The place will never be safe as long as he's alive.
Go get some of the men.
It's too early. No one's around.
No, he's here because I'm here, and I gotta settle it.
It's been 5 years since a shot was fired in this town. I sure hope yours is the first.
I can't outdraw him. Maybe I can outsmart him. At this distance, he can't be fast and accurate, too.
Took years to build up something. In 2 minutes, it's destroyed.
I didn't prove anything except that a gun can kill. And you could have done it your way. A lot of people would have been shot. This is a nice town. I hope you keep it that way.
Then you'd better start obeying the rules.
You want me to stay?
Why not? A man willing to die for a town deserves the right to live in it.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, I'm staying.
Thank you.